Good evening, everybody. It's time again for your Rowdies Talk Radio, the Green and Gold Gospel.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood, I got a problem and it's complicated. Going through changes and I just can't ignore the signs. Hear them now, it's so loud it hurts. Hear me growl, hear me howl when the full moon is out. Hear me growl, you see me run, you see me jump. Try to fight, but I emerge with the prize in hand. You better watch out, it's gonna take more than what you got. All eyes are on me and the silence is deafening. You're so helpless against this full moon. Don't ever say I didn't warn you, because I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play. Wow!
And hello, Rowdies fans. Welcome to the Unused Substitutes. I don't want to say weekly, monthly, randomly placed dose of the green and gold gospel. It is off-season. We kind of ducked out at the end of the last season because life happens. I am joined by I guess I should probably introduce myself if you haven't remembered who I am. I am Dan, joined here by the Crypt Keeper himself, Ben Wilcock.
I don't even know where to go with that. Like, but
Me
what does that
neither.
even mean?
I don't know. You're old, you're dusty, crusty.
Well,
You
Dusty's
exist
probably
in
fair.
the tomb of the trop. So, like,
Yeah, okay. All right,
The
fine. Fair,
catacomb.
all fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just winging it. It's been a while. I'm out of practice.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Curveball. Here you go. Yeah. No, man. Yeah. It feels like it's been forever. Man, like we were talking beforehand, it's just like we took a break from everything. It's just like all of a sudden, like 2 months just kind of blew on by basically. And like all of a sudden here we are and trying to get back in the swing of things. And we've been talking about it for weeks about getting on here. I mean, we have some other stuff going on behind the scenes that we'll get to eventually for you guys. But yeah, man, it may be off season, but it has been crazy, man. How are things up there in the frigid north?
Today, frigid. My favorite thing was Casey woke up this morning and she goes, "What's the temperature? It's warm out." And I was like, the feels like temperature is 30 degrees. Definitely not warm.
No.
But it's good. Same old. We were in Florida for literally a hot second.
He didn't say hey to any of us, by the way. Just none of us.
No, we literally went into St. Pete for like 4 hours, said hello to Issa and Andrew, had dinner, and then we're back and then went to my parents, and then went to Casey's parents, and then we're back up here. Literally, I don't think we didn't have a day we weren't in the car in the entire week. So taking a couple weeks off before we drive back down. We should have a little bit longer, and I'm going to try to see some people then. I can't promise I'll get to everybody, but we're going to try to make it a little even and a little more sociable since we have a little bit more time. But otherwise, good. I'm going to nerd out on the way home. Casey said I can stop at a Civil War battlefield or two that are right in Virginia because I annoy her every drive to and from. So she's finally granted permission. So that'll be cool. But yeah, soccer. Our season ended, October? And playoff happened.
One could argue it was kind of before then.
Well, I mean, I feel like our season ended in April, but, like the playoffs. Okay, so Issa, Andrew, Casey, and I are in a group chat. And Issa was like, we're going to do a playoff pick'em. And like, see what happens. I didn't watch really any of the games, but one of the weirdest USL playoff championship playoffs we've seen. Like Louisville has a record-setting season, gets bounced in the first round by the lowest seed, doesn't even score a goal. Like,
Love it.
I mean, and then Pitt. I think I don't want to break down the playoffs, but I think my favorite part, and you can share your thoughts, is the fact that Pittsburgh Riverhounds are the USL champions without Bob Lilly as coach. Like, there's something poetic about that. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we still don't know what happened to Bob Lilly, just on administrative leave. So Lord knows what happened there. But
hold on. Didn't Pittsburgh only score like one goal too in like regulation?
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like
Stupid.
what the hell?
This
None of it makes sense.
No, and we said it when we were at one of our optimistic highs that if this Rowdies club made it to the playoffs, they probably could have done some damage, and they seems like they would have beaten Louisville. But like, what a crazy ass year. It is over, thankfully, for I think everybody except Pittsburgh, who I think wants to revel in that glory some more. But it's been a weird year. I think we should probably try to burn some sage and expel these demons of the 2025 season. So let's. We used to call them the subbies. I don't know if anybody really deserves awards this year, except maybe the front office staff for the year. But
Yeah.
I think we'll just quickly roll through. We don't really need explanations unless you say something stupid and we need to defend
Well, that's
it.
a guarantee.
That's true. So maybe we will dive. I think we'll start like our best offensive player this year. For me, obviously, Woobens Pacius, like, just scored the goals, only goals for the longest time. And really was just the only constant player going forward. I think you can make an argument for some, like, maybe Arteaga towards the end, but like,
that was kind of going to be where I was going to go with it. Is like, I mean, Woobens is the obvious one because without his goals this year, for any complaints I might have had about him with his defensive role, I mean, plain and simple, without Woobens Pacius, where are we? I mean, we're nowhere. Because for pretty much 98% of the season, Manu looked like he was walking in mud.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am happy that he, at least at the end of his season, finished relatively strong with like 6 or 7 goals. I mean, like, good for him. I mean, I'm happy for the guy. He can walk off into the sunset and do his thing. I mean, thanks for, 2 years of great work. But yeah, I mean, it's Woobens.
Yeah, definitely. Midfield. We didn't really have a consistent midfielder. I think there's like chapters. Ollie Bassett started the year so strong and then obviously when Lewis Hilton's healthy, he's there. I don't remember the guy who dislocated his shoulder. I don't remember his name, the Scottish guy from
Crap. Yep. Already gone. Gone. That happened like 3 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
He was decent for a couple games, but I think it has to go to Paul Murray. His signing changed the Chrysostomo had a solid second half of the year. Like, there's no clear winner here other than like Paul Murray for the last like few games. He like changed the dynamic of this club, but you could make a solid argument for a lot of these guys. I mean, Van Kazeel came on strong as like a defender or as like a defensive mid towards once he found his footing. Like, there was a lot that you can probably say. I don't think anybody really had a standout midfield season like we've seen Lewis Hilton in the past, but he's been hurt. So like, I don't know. Who do you got?
Well, I mean, if I think I'm going to go by role, I'm going to go with Bodley. I think Bodley was our most consistent midfielder all season. I think we got exactly what we wanted from him. And I think he, despite all the changes, all the different lineups, all the different positions, not for him, but all the moving around, he was very consistent on that left-hand side. And I think gave us at least one position we never had as a question. We knew it was Bodley was going to be out there. But you're right. I mean, I think if I don't look at loanees, if I look at just players that were, under contract with us, I feel like you're right. It's got to be Chrysostomo. I mean, obviously he didn't come on until midway through the season, but something clicked for him and he really stepped up his game. And I think he was definitely a catalyst when Hilton went down and even trying to get back healthy. Chrysostomo is kind of, I think he anchored that midfield in a way that we desperately needed. Because yes, I mean, obviously bringing in Paul Marie, massive change. He really changed the entire dynamic of our attack. But I still think that Chrysostomo was definitely the guy that kind of anchored that midfield for us. So, but I mean, yeah, there's a couple other guys in there, but I really feel like those are the two that really stood out for me.
So I had Blake as a defender because he was kind of that wingback role.
I mean, that's look, John wants me to believe that. John's Jonathan Silva. Yeah, I'm calling you out. You want me to believe he's like a defender. I get what he's left mid. He's left mid.
I mean,
stop it. He was playing in front of Aaron Guillen. Stop it. Stop it. He's not a midfielder.
On my list here, I had Blake listed as the left wing back. If you're going to put Blake in the midfield, then we didn't have consistent defense. I mean, there were games where Aaron was on. There was games Forrest was on. There was games Castellanos was on. There was games Lawrence Wyke focused. So like that one's
Yeah.
so if you're gonna make me think here, I mean, I will default to Aaron Guillen. Um, like he was healthy, he was consistent. It might not have been his best year with the Rowdies, but it was still solid. It was still consistent, and he's still the defensive leader in this team, IMO. But
Yeah, I got to be honest. I mean, if I had to pick a defender, I don't know that I could. I mean, I love Aaron. On a personal level, I love Aaron. It was such a great guy. But it was not a good year for him. I mean, consistency for being out there, yeah, but his play, I mean, there's a number of times that he got caught watching, not chasing this guy in, was late to jump on the second pass. It just wasn't a great year. I mean, Castellanos tried, had his moments. Forrest had his moments. White, for about like a 4-game streak there, was phenomenal. Van Kazeel stepped in huge in that role, that right back position. But there isn't really one guy for me defensively that I really can go with. It just, that was a really lackluster position this year. We really did not have it at all. I don't know. All right, I'll go Guillen, Mister, because he's a captain. Fine, I'll give it to him.
I guess for once we can do a goalkeeper, considering we've had 3 or 4 people play goalkeeper this year. I'm not gonna go Hamid. I am gonna go with Ethan Bondre. I think he was not necessarily the best keeper, but I think he came in and was like a bandage on a bleeding, like a gaping wound here that would just, and like consistency helped. And then I don't know, like it's been such a weird year, and I don't like we didn't do this back in the bad days of like, I think we made these awards when the club was doing really well, and we were like, cool, let's celebrate. So doing it on a down year feels weird, but like I do think a lot of these guys deserve some credit for the work they put in. But I'm gonna go with Ethan Bondre as our best keeper of the year.
I think we all know the correct answer is Campisi. I mean,
I don't even remember him. I don't even remember him.
I feel bad for the guy because he comes and he starts whenever the team is literally at its worst, playing its worst, most inconsistent soccer. The guy has to at least stand on his head and make insane saves.
Also, he threw the ball off Aaron Guillen's back and led to ruined our first game.
Like that was the worst part of that game.
I had
it stands out, but let's not pretend like that was all that happened. I mean,
I have something else for like my least favorite moment, but that might be my least favorite moment because it set the tone for this awful year.
I'm not going to put that on Campisi's shoulder because I remember when the team had a little bit of a bump there initially whenever we made the coaching change, and he was actually the only reason we didn't lose like 2 or 3 games. I mean,
but he's also the reason why we lost 2 or 3 games.
See, this is okay, look, as a defender at heart, I hate that argument because like the forwards get up to sit there and do nothing and lollygag around, look pretty, and miss 100 shots, but keeper does one mistake and that's the game. Sorry, I don't like that argument.
When you peg your defender in the back of the head and the ball bounces to the opponent to score, yeah, that's kind of your fault.
All right, look, all I'm gonna say is, look, my issue with Bondre was the guy's positioning was just awful, always awful. It was always in the wrong place. And I mean, look, Campisi was not perfect either. The guy, I mean, much like the Jordan Scarlett era, he was bound for one blunder every game. It was just guaranteed, right? But man, he made some miraculous saves, gave us something. I mean, Bill Hamid was not perfect. You could definitely tell he was an older guy on the field, which I mean, for goalkeepers is whatever. But I mean, at least he came in and I think calmed the back line, right? At least there was a sense of, if it's in his range, he's going to get it. I mean, if you think of some of the goals that scored him, they were wonder goals. Honestly, it didn't matter who we had back there. They were going in. So I don't think he cost the game. So I would probably go Bill Hamid, but I love my boy Campisi. I stood on that man's shoulders at the beginning of the year. I'm going to ride that one until I can't anymore. And so Campisi, I got you, brother.
You have a lot of bad takes, but this one might be the worst. Obviously, Campisi wasn't the problem early on, but like
he sure as hell wasn't the help either.
No, he helped dig that hole quick.
it just, dude, I think about just how bad and inconsistent the team was in, and I just think of myself as I played on one or two teams that were just bad, and being the defender on a bad team or being a keeper on a bad team sucks because you are constantly just under fire, and it's like there is, the fire hose is on full blast, and you're just like, I can only stop so much water, but it's just like I really feel like a lot of people really blamed him for a lot, and not to say he didn't have blame to hold in there, but I'm just like, man, he was not the problem.
No, I mean, years upon years ago, we had a big discussion about this. Like, I think it was in the Matt Pickens era, and people were blaming him for performance. And I was like, he's facing an obscene amount of shots because the midfield wasn't there. And if you don't if the midfield, it's key to so much, and it's so cliche. But if your midfield can't stop or slow down an attack, your defense is going to be leaky, and shots are going to come out, and the save percentage goes down. Like, there's not much you can do in that situation. Like,
Right.
Your forwards need to score, but your midfield needs to control the game, and we didn't for a large portion of the season. As our midfield discussion said, like, there wasn't really a standout in that center field. I think Crisostomo did what he could, and I mean, this comes down to like systems, right? Like, maybe Woobens not pressing has led to somebody being out of position, or like it breaks down. Everybody needs to be on the same page, which that is what it is. We've had 3 head coaches this year, which is we're going to go to worst moment. And this isn't a shot at Steve Coleman, but it's Steve Coleman's first week. That was such, like, that poor man was thrown into the meat grinder, and like, I'm not putting the blame on him. I mean, you could probably say like the worst moment might be Robbie Nielsen starting the season.
Yep.
So like, it's not Steve, but like, Naples, it was top of USL League One, and we had to play them. Louisville, Loudoun, like, it was just such a like insane period of time that week was just the worst week of the year. Like, it just, everything felt off. Maybe you could probably make the week prior of like Robbie Nielsen's last game, everything felt so bad.
Yeah.
But it was just that like period, that like early season thing was just the absolute, my least favorite part of the season. Steve Coleman, after that, being able to kind of stabilize the team and then hiring Dom, great. But I mean, you could just say maybe 3 head coaches in a season is absolute ass, and least favorite part of the season.
Yeah, I think for me, and it kind of runs off that a little bit, it's the fact that we had the hope come the last 2-3 games, and the team completely floundered in the moment we needed them to rise, and the moment where they were playing like they were ready to. Because I agree to your earlier statement, I do believe if we get into the playoffs, we could have made a little noise. I mean, Pittsburgh scoring 1 goal in regulation and getting into the final. I mean, it goes to show like what we talked about in some of our last episodes. It's like, if you just get to the dance, you got a chance, and we essentially in those last 3 games set ourselves up to make the run, and we fell apart completely. And I think that's the part that sucked. So I had no hope midseason. I started to develop some hope by the end of season, and then it was just like, haha, just kidding, we're still here. And it was just brutal, because we're like, we're riding high. We got 5 games winning in a row. We're scoring multiple goals in a game. Blank 3-0. Okay, cool. That was fun.
It was,
I don't know.
That's completely accurate. And like, it was just a roller coaster, but I think there might have been some relief we didn't make it to play but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of down this year. So I don't want to end this segment on a down note.
No.
So, favorite moment of the year for me, the 50th anniversary celebration as a whole, getting the legends, Tuao Lang, signing autographs, celebrating them, celebrating the 2012 and the modern era, like club legends and stuff. Like, the front office and the club really did so well, despite all of the distractions and everything off the field, of celebrating a club that deserves to be celebrated. Like, they are Tampa Bay's first professional sports franchise.
Yep.
Obviously, soccer has faded from public view for years, whatever, and the NFL the Bucks are celebrating their 50th year now. Seems to be going a little better than ours, but the celebrations were unmatched. And I don't get FOMO too often, but I really wish I was able to be there for more of these celebrations. So much has happened seeing those guys. So I really think, and it wasn't even just the autograph sessions and the 50th anniversary, the throwback graphics. Like, it was a concerted effort by everybody involved in this club that was just a unifying cool ass thing that they did. And I think, like, it's easy to shit on like the front office when things go badly for player performance and stuff, but there's so many people that work at this club that like pour their heart and soul into it, and they need to get recognized because they really, really knocked every other aspect of this season out of the park. The jerseys were awesome. Like, the throwback kits, we got hoop sleeves, like, amazing. Like I said, the graphics, the getting everybody here, the 7510 club, like, so good. Like, all of these things are so good, and I think those we need to remember that we have a front office that actually cares and that can do these things. If I have to pick an on-field moment, I don't know if I actually have one this season. I guess like the hiring of Dom Casciato is probably the highlight of the season, because as we're seeing this offseason, which we'll get into either later today, which looks like we'll have time. So like we're building an identity already. So I think those are my two big things for my positives for the year. What about you?
Well, ironically, that's exactly the direction I was going to go. So I will build on that to say is you're right. I mean, the staff catches a lot of heat for when things aren't right. But as you and I both know, there's so many great people that have nothing to do with that aspect of the business, but have everything else to do with all the other stuff. And legacy is important, right? That's how you build generational fans. That's how you build a brand from the ground up. That's foundational, because these guys, walk so we could run. We could be where we are today. And I think the club overall, I think, does a good job honoring the past. And even though the play didn't match what we would have hoped for this year, you're right. The graphics were great. The production side was really good as some of the videos they put together. I thought they really did a good job of representing those guys and bringing them in and really building that bridge between old and new fans with the legacy players. And it was fun. It was great to see them out there. It was great to talk with some of them. Some of these guys I've never met before, but we've obviously wrote about them. It was a great experience. And it seems like the fans really seem to turn out for that. They really enjoy those moments. Those lines for those autographs are always backed up all the way out the gate around. And that's great. And I think that's great for those players to know that time, ever been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 50 years ago, still means something to people around here, that they still matter to our community. And it's great, because I don't think like all franchises do a good job of promoting legacy and really building on I think the Rays don't do a great job of it, honestly. So I'm glad to see that the Rowdies really made it a point this year and took it around with it. To the on-field, yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, it's hard to pick out a great moment with so much down stuff this year. I'm sure there's a goal or something. There's probably, if I put more time and thought into it, I could probably think of like a moment. Maybe just the magic of Paul Marie and just seeing what he was doing out of the field. Maybe watching him play. I think he's probably the most talented player we've probably had put on the Rowdies jersey. I think just hands down, a modern era. I don't think we've seen a guy with his talent. Look, we've had some great players.
Marcel Schaefer, Martin Vingard, Georgie Ristoff.
But when they came in and played for us,
Georgie Ristoff,
were they that player? Georgie was a great striker, but Paul Marie was something different. I'm not going to compare a striker and a midfielder. That's not different positions the way they play. I think for his role, what he did, I put Paul Marie up there as one of the best. To watch play live, his effect was, immeasurable. And we saw it in whatever, bad take, Ben, blah, 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 blah. Put it in a post. Look at this idiot. Say it again. Whatever.
Bad take, Ben. That's just what you're going to just be bad take.
I just created my own fucking take. Damn it. Well, fine. Clip it. I still think he's one of the best. I think in his prime, he came in. And you're right. Georgie Ristoff would definitely be arguably that guy. But I just think two different players, right? And I think watching him play, for me, was a highlight of the year. I really enjoyed watching his effect on the team. Off the field, yeah, it's got to be the signing of Dominic Casciato. I think we 100% got the right guy. I think he's 100% going to be the right guy to drive us forward. You could see the effect he had on the team once he started getting in some of these loanies and players in that were his style of player. And I'm excited, man. I like what he's doing. I like what he brings. I like the players that we've brought in. I'm very happy that the front office found a way to make that signing happen, because I think we found ourselves a coach for the next 5 years. So that's got to be the highlight right there.
Yeah, I'm curious what he does. Well, we're going to jump into it in a second. He has an opportunity that Robbie either didn't get or chose not to take. I've heard different things. Well, I've heard some things about the way Robbie Nielsen approached the offseason and things, and it's very different than Dom. But we have a lot of roster turnover. So Dom is getting to shape a team to his plans, his instincts, his tactics and whatnot, his system. Like Pacius, Charlie Sharp, and Paul Marie's loans are up, so they're gone. And then you have Van Kazeel, Skinner, Ortiz, Billamy, Danny Crisostomo, Ethan Bondre, and Ali Bassett, whose contract options have been declined. Nyanga Biri, Nick Moon, and Juan Carlos Azocar are out of contract. And then you get to the players that we actually are holding on to. Luis Alvarez, Robert Castellanos, Aaron Guillen, Lewis Hilton, Lawrence Wyke, Andrew Musali, and then we picked up the options on Alex Mendez and Nate Worth. Nate Worth won a trophy over with his loaned club, which was MLS Next Pro, right? Like, was it Red Bulls over there?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's so. Congrats on him. Hopefully, he's is still growing. He's a kid, so same with Mustali. Like keeping them is good. So basically, there's a whole lot of roster space to work with. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We usually that's almost 17 players Casciato can bring in. We usually carry a roster to 23 to 25 people, so maybe it'll be a little smaller this year, who knows. But we've already brought in some signings, which is absolutely crazy that it's the beginning of December 3rd and we've already signed 4 people. Usually we would go dormant and not really announce these until after Christmas and beginning of January. I used to remember sitting at the stupid Pinch a Penny trade shows in Orlando and not paying any attention to the classes I was sitting in and just watching Twitter to get the updates of like the sirens and then talking about it then. Thankfully, that's not happening, that I'm not at a trade show, because I'm not.
I was gonna say, what, you don't want the Twitter updates? What do you?
No,
you miss those trade shows.
I mean, I was a pool boy for nearly.
You missed the free drinks. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, it was. I did this for I would say about 15 years of my life. It would be, we'd get there Sunday night. We'd stay at a Disney hotel. Sundays were chill. We did whatever we wanted to get there late. Monday was like a welcome session, and then we would do the awards dinner. So open bar, banquet, like food, whatever. Open bar was bad. We'd get drunk. Tuesday was classes all day, and then they would always close off a bit of a theme park. Universal Disney would get a section of that theme park, and you could ride that little section, and you'd have open bar. They just have beer and alcohol stations all around. So like one year it was the newer part of the Harry Potter world at Universal, and it was like Gringotts thing. And when it's open bar, they're not giving you like the small cans. They were giving you the tall boys, and I would chug it and then like throw it in the trash can and get right back online for Gringotts. And I did that about 7 or 8 times. And then like when the park closes, all of the reps for all of the different pool companies would meet you at the hotel bar and just buy drinks on their company card. So it was just an absolute mess. And then Wednesday morning, you wake up and it's the actual trade show. All of the reps are bright and happy because they weren't really drinking, and every pool owner and employee is hungover as all hell. It was a great time, and the classes were redundant. So like after 2 years, I could probably have taught the class. So I was literally just waiting for like Rowdies updates. Yeah. The fact that they're happening, that we've already have this many signings or this early, is fantastic. So we signed, let's see, we can start with the first one, Marco Micheletto, coming from, it looks like the Switchbacks, which is great. 29, not young, which, fine with me. Experienced, quality, was played Columbus Crew too, their youth team. He was loved there. Columbus fans text me to let me know that we're going to love him. He was great in Colorado. I'm actually excited about that one, solidifying that midfield. And then our second one, Russell Cicerone. I have been wanting this man on this club for years. And the fact that now, sure, he's 31, but having that experience up top in this league is fantastic.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was going to say real quick on the Marco Micheletto signing. I mean, that is a veteran that can anchor your midfield. He is creative. He's got good vision. He has led teams. He's been captain of his teams. He's scored plenty of goals. He's great with distribution, good vision. I mean, his previous coaches rave about his intangibles. That was a massive signing. And you're right, dude. Russell Cicerone, like, if you follow USL even just a little bit, you know that name. That guy is an absolute monster. And I don't care. At 31, that guy is still fun to watch. And what I love is he is committed offensive and defensively. He has no problem playing his role, and he's excited to be here. He's ready to make a name. He wants to make a name here. Like, he wants to make his mark. He was very excited talking to Casciato, and he likes his vision, and that's what you want, right? I mean, as a new coach with basically a new team, because as it stands, with the new signings, we have 12 players on our roster. No goalkeepers, by the way, but we have 12 players on our roster. And Russell Cicerone has been a menace for as long as I can remember. And I think his pairing with the other guy that we'll get to, I think is going to be a lot of fun this year.
Back to Marco Micheletto, I just want to say that our head coach and now probably our key midfielder are Italians with English accents. And it really is annoying because, like, I watched, like, HBO's Rome, or Casey watched some bad, like, Renaissance pieces, and I'm like, why do all of these Italians have English accents? Now my favorite club has 2 Italians with English accents, and she's going to be like, see, maybe they aren't that all historically inaccurate, and I'm going to maybe get a divorce. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true.
It threw me for the first time I heard it. Let me tell you what, like, I'm like, is that really his accent?
Yeah, the first time I heard Dom talk, I was like, that can't be, that
right?
Doesn't line up.
I thought Italian or Spanish accent at least. Like, I was thinking, no, like, did not expect the English accent. Okay, yeah, I'm with you there. That totally threw me off.
Yeah. So we also then signed, yesterday we announced Leland Archer from, I believe, Charleston, who's been there for a mainstay on their back line. And he's basically the Forrest Lasso replacement. Leadership, size, just a defensive stalwart. So I was wondering how we were going to revamp this defense with the loss of Lasso. And, like, Wyke is fine. I still don't think Wyke is a right center back or a center back in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So, like, that defense is going to need a lot of work. You can move Wyke IMO into the midfield, and he's great there. He was great for Neil Collins in that kind of system, which I think maybe Dom is building towards a similar play style to Neil Collins, which is why, like, Cicerone fits and whatnot. And then we also today announced Carson Henderlong from Naples FC. He was the runner-up for the Golden Boot. Another, I think Dom described him as another big target man, and also can press and plays like has a complete game even at 25. He's 6'3". So, like, I think you see where this team is going. I will say I am very happy about these signings, not just on a talent level. And I think this is coming, and I don't want to get ahead of us, but I do think we're going to see some League One guys that Dom just knows, like, that played under him, which is fine. And I think we'll probably get some North Carolina FC guys because they were just available since the team folded. So, I mean, there's talent there, so I'm not going to complain. But so there's pieces to be picked up there. And it seems we've had a lot of this locked in pretty early, which is great news. But I saw that Kaylor Hodge from the USL show, Birmingham Legion fan, whatever, he said Enzo Martinez is released by Birmingham. I would not mind Enzo Martinez in the green and gold.
Bring it. Dude, that is the player you hate to play against and you love when he's on your team. Hate that son of a bitch with a passion.
Yep.
God, but I love to have that pain in the ass on our lineup.
Yep. Like, he's obviously, like, not young anymore either, But
No.
could you imagine late in a game bringing Enzo Martinez on to just like shit house it up, get under people's skin, and still have the talent to create and do it and score goals and get in those positions? Like, I don't know. Maybe the roster is already locked up. Maybe he might not fit Dom Casciatos. But Nico, front office, if you guys are listening, please at least make a run at Enzo Martinez. Like, please, unless he's already locked in somewhere else, it better be here. I want Enzo Martinez in the green and gold.
Dude, that's a great shout out. I didn't know that. I mean, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, it just, he reminds me of Connor Antley in the sense that, God, I love Connor Antley. I loved him for all the reasons that you hate him as an opponent. And I think he very much fits that mold. To go back a little bit, I wanted to talk a little about Leland real quick. Yeah, I think you're right. You tapped on it. He is an anchor for Charleston. I think he very much is that Forrest Lasser replacement. And I think the big thing with him, something that if you guys listen to Bench Banter with Ryan Davis, the show that he did a few months back, one of the things he talked about that it was important was, you have to build the spine of a team. And with these 4 signings, what we just did is rebuild the spine of the team. I think you put in veterans with experience, proven talent, and the kind of work ethic you need to have success at the USL Championship level. And Leland he has no problem being a threat up top. Not saying he's a big goal scorer, but he is able to score off those set pieces and get up there. He knows this league. He knows how USL Championship is run. He knows how to stand his ground. He is a very smart player, very talented. That's a huge pickup. I don't know what happened with the whole Charleston thing. Maybe he was just ready for a change of scenery. I think that's important sometimes. I think there's probably a few guys still on our roster that's probably going to end up being the case for as well. We could get to that maybe. Carson, look, to the USL 1 comment you made, like, yeah, I think you're right. I think we probably will see some USL 1 level players, but I think something that we discovered this year, and credit to Jägermeister Cup for doing this, right? I think it made us realize the gap isn't as far as we thought it was. It's not as big of a drop off. I mean, obviously, the USL League One teams are not loaded with the talent the way that maybe a championship level would be. Same thing as you go up to MLS level, but there's obvious talent and guys that can compete at this level, and it would not be it's not a stretch for them. And I think bringing in Carson to have him play off of Cicerone, I think is wonderful because it's 2 different style of players. You got your guy that can play in Carson with his back to the goal. He's proved he can score with pressure or get in open space or get up off the corners. Cicerone can get into your open spaces. He knows how to work a back line. I think those are both really big signings. And I like that Dom is not afraid to go out and get a League One guy and be like, yeah, we're backing this guy. We think he can do it. Because, yeah, I mean, like we saw him. I mean, when we played against him, he's a problem for any back line. He gave us fits, I mean, in both our games. So I'm very happy to see that we are taking some chances here. I think you have to.
Yeah, I was really just worried about becoming like Tampa Bay, Omaha.
Fair. That's fair.
And it was a twofold problem or thought, because one, Dom just going to who he knows and not wanting and just wanting to keep. But also, the last 2 years of our front office has been less about building a club and a lot of rentals. There's been a lot of loanees or a lot of young kids and like trying to plug and play and build. It does seem, and that's not a shot at anybody. I mean, that's a very Stu Sternberg Rays move. Like, and it could have been Robbie just, like shrugging it off and like trying to figure it out.
Well, we assumed that he was even acting that process. So we could have been saying to whomever, hey, go find me a guy.
Yeah, I don't think he cared. Going by the signings and hindsight, I don't think he cared. I don't think he gave much input, which is part of the problem, right? Agreed. Our squad was very hodgepodge and which is what I was getting at. And I think with Dom's how active we already are and the way the players Dom is signing, it points to me that it wasn't a front office issue. It was a Robbie Nielsen issue.
Yeah.
Which, if there's no guidance from the top down, it is what it is. So building the spine of actual USL Championship experience and leaders and talent, bringing in, if he wants to bring in League One and Omaha, like former Omaha players, that's great because they can grow. I don't want a squad of just recycled USL Championship veterans. Like
Right.
that doesn't really work. And we've seen it. Like the Rowdies have tried that in the past. Of like, I remember the NASL All-Star teams that we tried to put together from like each year. We would just try to cobble the best, and they never worked. Granted, coaching was a problem, but like you can buy like talent, but you can't buy chemistry, and like that is the thing we need to be like really looking at is and I think the quality of person and guys we're bringing in is just as important as their talent. So I don't care if we bring in people that Dom knows, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things to remember, like we now have Leo Fernandez now working in that head scout position. So he's going to be working with Nico and working with Dom. Like the three of them should be, if I understand how these things work, those three should be attached to the hip all off season, right? All looking at players, basically scouring all the corners, looking for the kind of player that Dom wants, and then talking amongst each other to figure out if they make sense. And I think that's actually a good mix because Nico's been around a long time. He understands the market. He understands the league. He understands how agents work. You've got Leo, who is an established player at this level. He knows the league. He knows what it takes. And you've got Dom, who I think is a good coach tactically. I think he's smart. He's got half a season under his belt. He knows how to build up players. I think the three combined definitely mixes for, I think, to your point, whether it be a USL League One player or championship player, I think they're going to select players that make sense for the system and what they actually want to do. And I think that's a recipe can only mean good things, right, for the roster and for the team.
Yeah, I definitely think. And I do think we'll probably see some Dom guys or come in for coaching. I think, I don't know who the shakeup will, if there will be a shakeup. I assume that like some guys might come and go.
Yeah, I wonder. Has anyone been announced? I mean, do we know of any? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say like
No.
I was trying to think if anyone's even said anything. I wonder if that would
That's
even
just
happen.
conjecture on my end. Like
Gotcha,
mean,
okay.
at least one person. Neil always had his right hand man.
True,
like Foley and
Foley.
yeah, like, and I think a coach should have that. I think they should have somebody that like is their top advisor. The rest of the staff, Dobson was a Rongan hire and is just now a fixture of Al Lang. I'm glad he didn't float away in the hurricane floods. He's just such a part, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went to greener pastures for new. Like I'm sure he loves it here, but like if he went somewhere else or something, if there was an opening.
I would think Dobson would retire before he'd leave. I think he is.
I don't think he's going to go for like a head coaching job. He obviously does not want that. Like he probably was offered our job several times over the years, and like he hated even filling in for a game. So I don't think he's going to go like be a head coach anywhere. But like he might just like want to, I mean, where else? Florida, St. Pete is the best place on earth outside of New York City, and why would you want to leave?
Yeah, I do. I mean, to your point, I think you're right because you're right. Neil Collins had Robert Pattinson, had Foles. I mean, like he had a guy who was like his confidant, all that. I wonder how that connection is between Steve Coleman and Dominic Casciato. It did seem like they had good chemistry. Obviously, I think Steve Coleman has a good relationship with players. I think his skill set is building, I think, a unity on the team, and as a good assistant coach should be a strength of theirs. So I mean, obviously he's still around, but I wonder how good that connection, and if that might be, he might just stick with that, like that might be his go-to. I mean, they've had half a year to figure out whether or not it makes sense, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I hope it does. Steve Coleman deserves a lot of plaudits that I don't think fans will give him because that period was so tumultuous, but like I do think he did a lot to stabilize his club.
Heck
so
yeah, he did.
I give him hat tip to him for this season. Trying to think what else we got. Like more signings, I'm sure are coming. We have a whole roster to fill out. I'd like to see a goalkeeper. I don't have a goalkeeper. I did see Kaylor Hodges also. Let me fire up the old blue sky again. He also said that we are rumored to be signing somebody Jonathan Silva will be happy about because he said he wanted him on his Facebook. MD Myers is allegedly coming here. Kaylor Hodges said Tampa Bay is signing Carson Henderson, which we know, Russell Cicerone, which we know, Leland Archer, which we know, Marco Michelotto, and allegedly MD Myers. Now, Kaylor tends to have his ear to the ground. One of the more informed, him and our good friend USL Tactics, John Morrissey, they are like the two best informed independent guys. So if we can get MD Myers, that will be huge as well. That'll be a great signing. I believe on today's, I don't know, Facebook is not in chronological order, but I saw John Silva mentioning that he wanted MD Myers signed. He also wants Caleb Richards signed. So, John, I'm worried about your actual scouting here, but MD Myers is a quality player. Caleb Richards is a shout we're holding on to. You're really selling, like, you're the only booster for that one.
Can you imagine that, Cicerone and Henderlong? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That might, I mean, on paper, that would be, I think, arguably one of the most potent offenses I think we've probably ever had as far as a combination. Still doesn't answer the goalkeeper scenario. I mean,
you're hired.
I don't know. I mean, look,
you're the new goalkeeper.
Well, I got one corner covered. Just give me my lawn chair and a beer. I mean, look, Stuart Dobson can work some magic, but he ain't that magical, all right? Well, no, he is that magical. I'm just that old and that no way is that ever gonna happen.
Yeah, you are.
No, all right, okay. Yeah, we got it. Look, you're right up there with me, all right, buddy?
Still
all right,
younger.
just because that's kind of how math works.
There's like a century or something here. Like just look at it.
No.
My beard, well, I shaved it, but my beard's still brown.
I raised a child. I don't want to hear it from you. All right, once you raise children, you talk to me. I give that the Italian the thing. All right, you're gonna hit like 70, and like all 40 years are gonna catch up to you. That's what's gonna happen.
I was just talking about this. Like it's still here.
Dude, I'm not pulling my hat back. You don't need to see that 5 head. I mean, you can see it's already up here. Look, I am millimeters away from pulling out the pick. All right, it is an inevitability that is going to happen. I am holding on for dear life.
Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
No,
like a Disney's Frozen. Just let it go.
I'm not letting it happen. God bless you. So looking over our roster right now, I'm excited for the players we brought in. I'm glad that Alex Mendez is going to stay around. I think that's a great decision to hold on to him. Who knows for how long? But I thought he really offers a lot. He's got a lot of experience, and him and Luis Alvarez. Luis being young and raw, and I think has a lot of upside to him. I think he'll do well under some veteran leadership on the field. And also, let's be honest, I mean, he'll have an off season to train with the team and not come into a team that's kind of in chaos, right? Like, it's hard to develop and really make your mark of who you are as a player and a team that is just in shambles.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have an identity or a system or these things where a player, especially a young one, can come in and make their mark on a club. Like, it's in a tailspin, and we're just kind of getting by from week to week. So yeah, I would love to see what he can fully offer with a full preseason, a squad around him, and some leadership. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then I looked over to like Castellanos and Guillen, Wyke, and Hilton. I think anyone knows me knows. I mean, I love Hilton and Guillen and those guys. I mean, I'm a huge fan of them, but I kind of feel like it's almost time that we have to make some decisions to move on. Like, I know we need depth, but I hate that. Are they depth guys or are they starters? And I just feel like the time here with us, I feel like has kind of made its run, as much as I hate to say that, because unfortunately I think we're at a stage now with a new coach, a new identity, and these guys, not to say they can't be Casciato guys, but they very much feel like Neil guys. And maybe change is the best thing for you at this stage. I mean, it's tough to say, right? I mean, like, look, if they want to stay and they want to play and they want to get their starting spots, like, I'm all for it. But I can understand that as a coach, and I'm just saying, prepare yourself as a fan that Aaron Guillen and Lewis Hilton, while currently on the roster, might not be here. Wyke, he's a wild card, man. I think Neil proved it best. It's like, if you can direct all that anger and all that rage and put it in the right direction and keep it focused, he's a really good player. I don't want to say phenomenal or great, but he is a damn good player and an asset to your line, whether he plays up into the midfield or back. I wouldn't mind him as a right wing back. I don't hate that idea for Lawrence Weick. But I just think like with Guillen, I think with a lot of the mistakes that we saw this year, it's an area that we have to improve on. We just have to. Lewis Hilton, if he can get if he can get healthy, we know what Lewis Hilton can do. And I think if you pair him in there, if you can pair him in there with Marco, I think there's a lot of potential there. And then Castellanos, I don't know. I like him, but I don't think he's the answer as center back. I think we just proved that by who we signed with Leland. I think we showed that he's not going to be a right or left back unless you're trying to play like the 3 center back system. Okay, then maybe I could see that, but I still think you need pace and stuff off the wings. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is going to be there.
I mean, I would love, and I want more than anything, for Aaron Guillen and Lewis Hilton to retire a Rowdy. Like
Yes.
I think they've earned that. But they've also earned to make the choice themselves. If they want to come back and fight for a spot, I think this is a loss, and I think there's enough space now. I think like Seba Guinzati, him leaving was his choice. Neil, sorry if I'm breaking confidentiality somewhere along the lines, I don't remember. But like Neil basically said, like, you're getting reduced playing time, and which is why that was such a shock move. And he was like, you can stay, but you're going to have reduced minutes. And he said, I want to play, and he's went elsewhere. Now he's the League One League One New York Cosmos first signing, which is where he belongs. But I think that Aaron and Lewis have both earned that right as well.
Yeah,
it should be left to them. It shouldn't be just cut and run. I think they should be allowed to make the decisions. I think they are both an asset to this club, regardless. Weick, I think, is a fascinating piece. I think we saw Weick come into form with, like, not under Robbie. I think everything I've heard from conversations is Robbie was like a feet up on the desk, like show up for a little bit, manage a game a little bit, and then we're done till training on Wednesday or something. So like,
you almost sound uninterested in everything that is involved as a coach at this level.
We give a lot of crap for like older players like just coming to the US for a retirement tour, and it kind of felt like this was Robbie like, I want to manage but not really. But maybe that worked in Scotland. I don't think so. But so I don't think Weick performs well in that atmosphere. He needs the structure, as we saw the way his temper flared. It was unfocused. But Steve Coleman and Dominic Casciato kind of built structure for him to fit in, and we saw his game kind of return. So I don't think he's a right center back in a 3-back system. I think his skill set is going forward. Like, don't get me wrong, he is one of those dark arts shit houses as well. Like, the man's mouth never stops, and he's great at winding people up. So I love that about it. And I remember sitting in midfield with Matt and Steven and watching Weick as a trialist before he signed, and he was just a terror. The motor never stopped, and like just crunching tackles and so like I love having him in the team. And if you can get him and Enzo Martinez on the same squad, like I will not be surprised if an opponent never finishes a game with 11 players on the field, because God, somebody's going to throw a punch. So like, I mean, that would be a fun squad, but I think having the structure, he's good, but I think he needs to be either like part of that midfield or a wingback-esque player. I don't think he should be the right center back. And I think with Leland Archer, if Aaron stays, and if you want to put Castellanos to the right-hand side, you can still play that 3-back. I don't know if Castellanos is the answer there. He might be. I think, when you were talking about it, I don't think Castellanos has the ability yet, or has the desire yet, to be the anchor of the line, which is what we needed. Like that, what Lasso does so well of controlling and leading the line and being controlling that mental aspect. I don't know if Castellanos is there, if that's in his game yet, or like has a desire. Some guys just aren't going to be that vocal. They're just not going to do those things. And I think Aaron can still play a huge part on that line. I think he has to maybe adjust his game a little bit, in the fact that like he's getting older, like pace might not be there that he relied on so much. So he has to let the game come to him a little bit more, knowing when to step, because he's not going to get back as quickly. Like,
Right.
and I'd have to go back and watch Archer, but probably the same as Lasso. Big guy, not going to be able to stream back. Like, we've talked about it before. That's what made the Guillen Lasso Scarlet line so good, is that like Scarlet had the speed and the wheels to just clean up anything that like was misplayed, and he was always there for that last ditch tackle. Or if it happened on Scarlet's side, Guillen was the one to come back. And I think like the dynamic wasn't there this year, so I don't know the defensive answer yet. I mean, Leland is a huge plus. The right side still scares me more than anything, because we don't have somebody there.
Yeah,
but like.
Well, the leagues is only getting faster, and this is where like I'm big on pace, and I'm okay if we move on from Guillen in the sense that we need pace back there if that's what they feel they need to do to get it. I agree with you that I think because like any veteran that's getting a little bit older or longer in the tooth, pace is the first thing to go, right? But understanding what angles to take, how to cover your ground, when and letting the game come to you, like you said, Aaron can absolutely do that. I almost wonder if sometimes he wasn't trying to overprotect, given what was happening on the back line. Is some of that is fixed by Leland, right? Like that's very possible. And if that's the case, great. But we need pace on the back line. And Leland, while very athletic and quick, he is not what a Jordan Scarlett was. Like you said, he was your cleanup guy. Falling in behind, Scarlett's going to get it. Like, but no question. Like, oh, it's a foot race. We're good. And we absolutely need to have that pace on the back for sure. I mean, that's like, we just need it. I mean, if you look at, not to say the league wasn't this before, but it's become very counterattack. And the strikers, even from like Cal Jennings to the guy that played North Carolina, I mean, like if you think a lot of these goal scorers that were kind of up there for winning Golden Boot, I mean, they are speedy, get in behind you, and like, we need cover for that. We need to be prepared for that. And if we're going to hold on to Aaron expecting to be that left back role or left center back role, we have to counter that with a lot of pace on the right side. It's just, it has to happen. You've got to have pace.
I will also say one of the problems last year was we didn't have a real right wing back when Nyangabiri went down. We lost the right side. So going forward, everything was on Blake Bodley, which left Guillen a bit exposed because everything had to shift. And we became one-dimensional that way because we never really went through the middle. We didn't really go through the right. So like it was easy. Everything kind of shifted. So like, and Guillen would go up to play like an overlapper a little bit, and we would leave that left side massively overexposed. So like some of it's, he's not young. I say that as he's 30, 31.
I know he's still young.
Yeah. Like,
not young for a professional soccer player.
Right. Like, especially a defender in a league getting, younger itself. But it's just like, I don't know. I will defend Aaron Guillen till my last breath. And I do think there was systemic issues as well. But again, it's his choice. If he, he came in under Neil, then had played Robbie, and then Steve, and then Dom. If he's just done with the club, more power to him. Go end your days where you're happy, enjoying life. You have a kid now, so like think of your family first too. But we'll see.
You brought it up. You brought up Pacific or Nyangabiri, and we brought up Azokar and Moon, like being out of contract. Obviously, that could mean anything. There could have been talks about a contract. There might not have. It just means, them being out of contract could just mean we just haven't had a chance to have the conversation yet, which is absolutely possible. Of those three or all three, would you like to see the Rowdies, have a discussion with any of them? Like for me personally, I would like to see Azokar come back. And the reason being is not because I want him to be a starter. I like it because he is a guy that fits a Dominic Casciato style play. He can fill roles where needed, because one thing is guaranteed next year. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be some guys that get little knocks and bumps and bruises, and we will need guys to be able to fill multiple roles. And that is something that Casciato said he looks for in guys. And I do believe Azokar can do that. And I think we could get him, I don't want to say on the cheap. That's not what I mean, but I don't think we would have to pay top dollar to keep him with the club. That I think he did enjoy his time with us. Nyangabiri, it all comes down to whether or not they want to take a risk, right? I mean, basically everything in the groin region, the way it was explained to me, exploded, and that's why we never saw him again. Now, does that mean all the muscles, tendons gone? That's when he went down, like basically all done for. So do we take a chance and bring him back? It's so tough, right? Because when he was healthy, God, he was fun. Oh man, he was fun. But that's a risk too. And then Nick Moon, I'm good. You know, I'm okay if we don't have that conversation. I think it's just we've seen, as much as I like Nick Moon when he's healthy, the problem is most of the time he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think you can walk that line again with him.
No, he nothing personal against him. He's just too hurt too often to be occupying that roster spot. I think out of all of the people, like even declined options, I think Joey Skinner is the one I want back. You talk about versatility. Like he came up big a lot. He could play defense, midfield. He feels like a Casciato guy. I'm hoping maybe like they didn't like the option or something, or I don't know. Azakar, yeah, maybe. I think he was growing into it, but like I didn't see things too big that I definitely want him back. Nyangabiri is a risk and getting healthy, which sucks. I would like to maybe get a full season out of Ollie Bassett if we could, his battery, but he started off so strong and then tailed off. So like I don't know. Yeah. Maybe as a sub or something, but like I think Joey Skinner, out of the declined options and out of contract, he's probably the one. If I could only target one, he'd be the one. I think
that's a good shout.
I think he brought more to the table than most of the, like fully for over the course of his minutes. Van Kazeel was a soldier. He played so many different positions, and had great games. Might have been a goat, like a scapegoat, a couple of games, but like he was, form dips, and that's fine. Especially the club dipped, like I can't put it on him. So like Van Kazeel's probably my runner up there. Those are the two versatile guys I would not mind having come back, but.
Yeah. Well, and you've probably heard this as well. I mean, I know you talk to a lot of people there. I mean, anytime you talk about Thomas Van Kazeel with the staff or players, they all raved about him. He is loved in that locker room as far as his character, his leadership. The guys all very much were big fans of him. And I think that says a lot too for just locker room chemistry. So that's a great shout out as well. If he were to come back, I would not be upset by that at all.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure there's more happening. There's probably more going on, but I think this is probably a good stopping point for this one.
I'm going to I think like we're looking towards next season. We mentioned it months ago in our last pod. There might not be an early part of the season. The USL Players Association, their collective bargaining agreement ends, I believe, at the end of December, and there is no current deal in place. So there is a good possibility of a lockout from the owners. We are trying to actually do I'm trying to do some in-depth coverage. There might be an interview or two coming to hash this out for everybody a bit more. But it's something to look at. I mean, there's demands. You can follow the USL Players on Instagram at, I think it's just USL Players, to find out who they are, what their demands are. There's a lot of stuff happening. So we might have a delayed start to the season. We don't know what's going on. It's something to keep an eye on. It is the sort of Damocles hanging over all of this excitement is, USL might have a lockout. But otherwise, I am excited for the people, the players that this club is bringing in, and for 2026, the 51st year is a new chapter, a clean slate, and I hope everybody is getting season tickets for Christmas, either for themselves, their loved ones, their friends. I think the excitement should return. The fun should return. I think the community should return. Game days are one of the best experiences. The people, for the most part, other than Ben, are great to be around at the game.
I'm amazing. I don't care about you. All right. I'm awesome. Old, crotchety, and a hell of a lot of fun to be around. That's all I care about.
The first two are right.
I like me. All right. I like me. And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I'm glad your mom told you were special growing up.
She did.
At least,
often. But I think she meant something by that sometimes. So I don't know.
When you're licking the paint off the walls,
somebody's got to do it. I mean, the walls ain't going to clean themselves. All right.
But so, yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. We will have a new show soon, I guess, maybe as more signings come out.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going to try to get some USL Players Association things happening to get that show. Maybe Ben will get another bench banter out to you guys.
I'm working on one right now. I'm hoping to have an answer by the end of the week.
Perfect. So more content is coming, but if we don't talk to you before, enjoy your holidays. Maybe I'll see some of you guys around St. Pete when I'm down in December, later this month. It is December. But
Boo him. Boo him.
Yeah,
He
I'm
keeps
not
talking about the Islanders over the Lightning. Don't let him fool you. He's full New York now.
I should have put my New York or nowhere hat on, but I went with Tampa Bay Rowdies because I am still a Rowdies fan. At least until next season when Brooklyn FC's men's team come and I just say I leave this pod and start a new one.
It's fine. Fine.
I would never do
that's
that.
how it is.
I would never
It's
do
awful.
that. I have a Rowdies
Pain.
tattoo.
That's true. I guess I should probably be the next one to do that. We'll have to think about that one this coming new year. We'll make a new bet for this year. All right.
All right.
Food
But,
for thought. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here.
yep. Talk to
Dan.
you soon.
Yeah. We'll try to get one more out before the end of the year, but
Yeah.
if not, happy holidays, guys. I'm out. Come on, you Rowdies.
Come on, you Rowdies.
The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Rowdies play soccer, it's a sight to behold. You'll swear they'll be devils with magical toes. You'll laugh, you'll cheer, you'll leap from your seat when they kick with their head instead of their feet. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Tampa Bay Rowdies take the field, there's a roar. The fans, loyal fannies, cheer the team they adore. There's music, there's laughter, pretty girls all